Okay, so this is a follow-up video to my previous video where I built this thing. So I did build this from scrap and took it on a test drive in the forest. I went through 5 kilometers of road with this, clearing that from bushes and a lot of rocks. I hit a lot of rocks with this thing and finally the chain snapped. So what we're gonna do now is I'm just gonna clean this off. So we're gonna just inspect so there's no cracks in this, and I'm gonna change the chain. So as it is right now, I got 2 chains on this sticking out. So each revolution this motor is making, this thing hits 28 times per second. So I gotta double that. So I gotta put 4 chains onto this. So we get that number up to 56 times. So that should eat things a lot faster. So I got 3 more places I wanna test this thing on. One place is on grass. The other one is, well, it's a short road. And the third thing, I'm not really sure what that is yet. But I have a neighbor here that wants something cleaned up. So we're gonna find out what that is later on. This thing's got a little bit damaged here. So, I'm gonna get rid of that. I don't have any more flat iron here. So we're gonna need to figure something else out. But I'm thinking having something else going out here as a support. And we put chains and chains there. Would be kinda cool having 8 of them, but I don't think it's gonna make much of a difference 4 to 8 chains, is it? Let's go up to the forest there, search for something else we can put here. Since I don't have any more of this. So I do have another copper like that that's on to the machine. So we're gonna steal this. I think we could just cut this off and the bolt hole will align with the bolt hole I got there. So everything is kind of pre-drilled. So this fits perfectly here since, well, it's an identical piece to this. So why don't we just cut this thing off so it doesn't go down the ground, and we're gonna score out a little bit to get the chain to sit properly there. So I'm gonna save this for future projects since I got a lot more of those motors. Okay. So in order now for the chain to sit properly, we need to make a little score here. Otherwise, this thing is gonna catch here. Just need to go in a little bit more. So I'm just gonna go with the plasma instead, that is faster. Might as well score out all the pieces here so we get, if we want to put 8 chains on this. I gotta calculate how much chain I got left, if that's possible. So we're gonna do the same thing with this. I gotta need to go with the grinder on this. I can't really deflect how this is spraying when this is here. And I'm not gonna be able to take this loose. So trying doing this with the plasma, I kind of had 40% of all the spray in my back there, and I tried to deflect that with the glove, and well, it got a little bit hard in there. So I made all these grooves here to be able to put a chain in each of these. The only problem is that, where's my chain? So the only problem is that this chain is really heavy. This is not a complete chain, it's gonna be even longer, but say around 3 kilos with the length I'm gonna use. So if you have 3 kilos pulling in each hole here, I don't know if 8 chains is a good idea. It feels like this thing might explode. Looking at this on this plate from this angle, it looks thick, but it's not. And I don't really see the perks of having 8 chains. I don't know why I even started to think about that. So, nah, you know, we're gonna go with 4. I just need to get this off from here. I think I need to. Yeah, well, let's reuse this. So I just removed this so it doesn't dig down in the ground. I forgot to do that when building this thing. But I went by my neighbor and checked, and the thing he wants done is that he got a field that it's been a lot of bushes and stuff on previous. The bushes are gone. They've been there with the tractor getting rid of the bushes, but he got a lot of grass clumps, so he can't mow that field. He wants to be able to mow that field. So, well, this thing isn't really built for taking such things off, but we're gonna try, see what happens. It should. The thing is that we're gonna need to go rather low there, but I don't think it's a problem. So these are the things they want gone. They're not really sitting that high. Maybe like that. But I think we should be able to get that. Well, let's give it a try. Well, as you can see, this is working really good. This is ground. Not possible to take it down more than this. Now we still got grass here. So you see here, it's just loose stuff of grass left. This is kind of hard putting in the in the mower there. I just gotta clean up this before leaving. This little edge here. So this thing is filled with rocks. That's why I didn't go there. You see here, big pieces of rock. But other than that, you can hear the eyes. But other than that, I'm happy with this. There's a lot of rocks everywhere. Well, they're not gonna have a problem mowing this now. They're just gonna have more to do when they need to mow this entire thing now. It's really fun driving with it. So we're gonna take that thing. So the darkness is closing in now. So we're gonna take that thing back to the garage. Holding. I went by and got some hydraulic stuff before getting here. So I got longer hoses, I got quick connectors, and this thing. I was thinking about putting this thing here to hold that so it doesn't rub against this. Oh, just too small. Can we get it on there? Well, in this configuration, as it is right now, I can almost get this tilted forward max without the hosing starting to stretch, but I still gonna need to lengthen them if I want to be able to tilt this forward like this maximum. And the other thing is that if I put this thing off center, if I want to cut further out than the skidster is, so I put this off center. I did that in the previous video and I got a lot of comments about why I don't cut from the other side so this thing doesn't spray up the road. Well, the simple answer is that the hoses that are right now are too short. So I could only move this off center that way. Since the connections are there, it's not possible to move this more here. That is gonna stretch the hoses. But I gotta lengthen them so I can move it off center both ways and tilt this forward without any problem. So yeah, and I gotta put the quick connectors on. So I also bought quick connectors for this. So I can remove this thing. As it is right now, so I just installed the hoses straight to the machine. I had to remove the old couplers. One started to leak a little bit and they were not as big as this one. They were smaller, so they were restricting the flow a little bit too much. So I gotta install this bigger one. We got ourselves a little hitchhiker. So this held up good. Did 4 of these make a difference compared to the 2 I used in the previous video? Well, I'm not really sure, since I never mowed grass before when I had the 2 chains on. I'm not sure if 4 made a difference. But I mean, it's double the hit per second, so. It's gonna start snowing in a few hours, so we're gonna go out and test this a little bit more. Something I realized when mowing was that when this thing cuts the grass, some of the grass will get thrown out that way by the side of that. But here, this point here was like a collecting area. So it did shoot the grass here and started to collect. And then you can see back here it was shooting that out. The thing though when going with this is that most of the grass that it cuts gets driven over with the right track. So it will, well, if you cut a lot of grass, the angle of the skidster will not be straight anymore. It didn't really matter that. I wouldn't say that mattered that much, but having the option of opening up a side, maybe that's not really a bad idea. Maybe you not need to open the whole side here. If you want to go by the ground, you still want something to hold this up with, but you could make a part of this that you could open. That is something we're gonna check next summer though, if we start using this for cutting grass. So let's change the hoses there and then we're gonna go outside and doing some more work here. Previous in the summer when I was using the sickle mower, going from a Porsche there, I was down at Graham's place cutting some longer hay. I'd never finished really that, I just wanted to test the sickle mower. So we can go down with this and finish that for real. So my little wall of chain here, my deflector wall is starting to break up. It started to eat a little bit. So this chain, well, it can't touch that, but if this gets deflected this way, it can touch that. So I kind of realized I got 3 hoses here. I only bought 2. So I totally forgot about this case drain. So that is still gonna be too short. So we might as well do these also later on. Okay, so we're not gonna take that. Those bushes are raspberry, so we're gonna leave those to grow. This turned out good. So I'm not gonna go any further here. So that's just rocks there, and well, this is the sea edge. I'm planning on taking a bath with that thing, so even though I think the ice could hold that. So let's go to the next place. I'm gonna take a, well, it's just a little road piece I gotta take there, so it's not much. So Gramps also wanted that little piece from there to there, taken. So we might as well do that. So I'm just gonna offset this, so. Okay, so I got a neighbor that also wanted some work done on his property, but the thing is that it's quite a big area, and now when the snow is coming in, I don't know, it's unknown terrain. So we're gonna go check on that, if it's possible doing that. Look at those grass lumps here. Oh, those are, look at that. Those are humongous. I don't know if my machine can take that. Those are some extreme lumps there. But so yeah, he wanted this entire thing mowed down to the lake there. So there's a lot of bushes. Oh, this is quite a big job. I don't think the snow is helping right now. So this is the problem when it starts to snow and the snow starts to drift. You can't see stuff like this. Smaller ditches apart, so it's always a big chance you get stuck or something like that. Not really a big problem. Well, what do you think? Should we give this a chance? The intensity of the snow is going down now a little bit. it's gotta get, well, it's gotta start going up soon again. I mean, we could give this a chance. There's a lot of bushes and stuff we could cut down here. Let's just see how far we can get. So I just lost one of my cameras here somewhere. Oh, connection failed. See if I can find that with the hopefully it's on. Oh, it's connected. So it means it works. Well, let's push the record button. At least we got sound. It's not mine. I can hear it. So the only thing I can do right now is pressing the record button. So you start recording and I hear a sound and then press that again to unrecord. Something underneath here. Nope, more here. Ah, there it is! No, there was the foot of that. Okay, so this is broken. But the camera should be here also. Further down. Oh, there it is. Alright, the camera is actually not broken. Good thing. This is what I call testing. Well, this thing was definitely not meant to take down things like this. But it still does that. You can really hear the engine of the skid steer when it bows down, when things starting to go heavy. This machine is a little bit too little when starting with this size. But I mean, it does the job. So this was like the worst part. They're getting a little bit weaker that way, I think. Well, we're gonna see. So this was really fun testing it here. The chain is still complete, nothing is broken. The only thing is from time to time you hit rocks, but mostly with the tracks. I'm kind of worried are gonna derail the tracks here. There are a lot of bigger rocks. But yeah, I also found my camera, so I'm happy about that. These are rather big here, but they do come off. Yeah, so let's keep going. I'm gonna go a little bit further down there, taking the bushes there and clearing the bushes here, so we got like a highway from the house down there. lost one link on this. You can feel that when you're slowing down. A little vibration, but it's just that. Just one link on this. And I gotta keep going with that. I just gotta take this and we're gonna call it done. But look at this thing. These are humongous here. Is this a good thumbnail, maybe? It's almost a trophy. I should bring this back to the garage. So I think we're gonna call it here. So I've been working here a little bit over 5 hours. And well, most of this is gone. So I was thinking about going further down here, but it got really soft. You can see here. You can almost feel how it was getting stuck there. I didn't want to gamble that, so we're gonna leave it as this edge. So all these wood pieces lying everywhere here now, they're gonna dry up, they're gonna decompose and turn into soil. Well, it's gonna take some while, but they're gonna do that. So another piece just came off this now. I guess it could be a good idea having a bolt with you. You could put a bolt here now to kind of compensate the weight of that. You can really feel now when that much is gone from the chain. You can see, yeah, also the back chain here. That thing is starting to go. So we got some battle trophies here. It's wearing its victory outfit. But I got all the hoses now, so I gotta put that on. We do have a lot of hose now. Feels like too long now. But it's gonna sit like that. So I also got another one of this. So we could mount that here. Maybe I should cut a little bit off here, getting this to sit a little more in. Let's take this off, put it on the table there, work on it. Yeah, so it got some battle scars here. This, well, chain protector is almost halfway gone. So it lost 2 links on this, and is it 4 on this? This seems to be, yeah, this is still a full length. So in total, since I put the chain on, I've driven for, I would say around 9 to 10 hours. So, I mean, it done some whipping before it broke. But I think it might actually be a good idea to make some kind of consumables, like the 3 last or 4 last of this chain. So you don't have to replace the entire length. So you can replace like 4 links and have something, well, bigger than this. But I mean, the concept of using something like this, well, this doesn't even fit there. But well, you get the picture. So you can build some kind of consumables to use with this. And well, when cutting grass and stuff like that, this works fine with a chain. There's no problem with that. I think it cuts good. But I mean, if I want to cut bigger bushes, there could be a good idea making something here. I mean, when this thing comes and smash into a bush that's kind of thick, there's a lot of power. Well, I mean, it takes a rather big bite. It's like this when you look at the bush, how it just eats that. So I mean, it's not a really bad idea just having the last thing here, something smaller and heavier that could just go through. But at the same time, rocks is a big problem. Every place I've been visiting, there's a lot of rocks. I had a lot of battle with rocks, but I kind of learned rather fast how to spot if this thing is munching onto a rock or a bush. If there's no spark coming out underneath, this thing is just battling a bush. But if it starts to come sparks out, you're onto rock. So I also got a lot of comments in previous video why I don't use blades in this, but a blade hitting all the rocks I've been hitting and having a blade here, that thing would go. It wouldn't be a blade for long or something. Well, we got time looking into that next summer. It's not really much more usage for this now. Guess we can put this up here. That would fit good. Do we have the bolt for this? Too short. Too short. This is perfect. Oh, look at that. All right, so this has been cooling off for a while now. So we're gonna put everything back. could put this drainage line here. Oh, I should have bought a little one for the drainage line. Huh, why didn't I do that? So I can't really leave it like this. It's bothering me now. I gotta need to order one of these smaller for, so I can have this line here. Yeah, we're gonna do that. But for now, I'm putting it here. So this isn't going anywhere and it's not rubbing here now. So I've been driving around with this for in total around 15, 16 hours. So I got a good feel of how this works, where the limit is. Well, the next thing is so I think I'm gonna try with some options for the chain there. I'm still gonna use a chain. I'm not gonna use anything stiff going out from the axle. I think that is just gonna, considering the places I'm gonna drive this on, there's always gonna be a lot of rocks. So you kind of need to take that in consideration when building something here. Kind of think about doing though is putting something onto the chain. I'm still gonna order a proper chain for this to try that. So I know the chain I'm using right now is around 50 millimeter. I know the one that used professionally when buying units like this, that it's 10 millimeters for grass and 30 millimeters for bushes. So I might try a 13 millimeter chain for this. I'm also kind of curious to see if that holds better. So now we got 9 to 10 hours out of this chain. But yeah, with that said, oh yeah, one more thing. So about my little deflector skirt here. So the reason for not doing anything here right now is that, well, I gotta cut off the old chain here, but I'm gonna put on some conveyor rubber onto this. And in order to get some conveyor rubber, I need to start with the rock crusher I got there. So I gotta need to replace the one I have on the conveyor I'm gonna use for that. So I can use pieces of that for this. So the next video is getting this thing heated, so we don't have a lot of snow and ice build up.